Ian, talking Hurricane Ian, do a little chalk talk with Mike Prangley, joining me this morning. So currently, Ian, over Cuba. I want to just draw out a little bit, just a rough sketch of kind of the cone, what we've seen from the Hurricane Center. One edge here, and then more or less another edge kind of coming over Tampa, and then over that I-4 sort of area, and a wide sweep with a center line track kind of bringing it through Florida, as we know. Now, I think there are a lot of concerns people have when they see a cone. They think, oh, well, I'm inside the cone. If I'm inside the cone, I'm going to experience the worst of it all. Right. There is a dirty side, there's a better, worse side to be on, and certainly within that whole cone, you're not going to experience the absolute worst effects.
We're not. These are just all the possible tracks the storm could take. And really in this cone, what you're seeing at home, the worst this storm has to offer, we're still most concerned about the Gulf Coast, Tampa, Sarasota area, maybe even down to Port Charlotte based on the latest trends. And then this will scoot to the north. And by the time it moves closer to home, we've got a lot of dry air and wind shear that's likely to rip at this system, but it's going to be powerful, okay? So still big impacts expected here at home, mainly late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Lou.
So I want to bring some things up, our friends in southeast Georgia, but thinking about Nassau County as well, because we've got tropical storm watches now issued for our coastal Nassau, Duval, Clay, even west now into Clay County. So what kind of impacts can we expect, let's say, in southeast Georgia, Camden, Glenn, and then into Nassau County as well?
Right, so always watching our friends in Georgia. So for these areas, we're still expecting the main threat would be the rain and the flooding. And at this point, based on the latest tracks, Georgia would see less rain, less of the widespread flooding that we'd see in central Florida and maybe areas from St. Augustine southward, whereas the farther north you go, more isolated flooding in those flood-prone areas. So hopefully that trend will continue with the latest track.
Keeping in mind all of these areas, tidal influence. We've got a couple of high tide cycles to get through Thursday and Friday, and they'll happen around midnight and then again around noon Friday. Once we get the outgoing tide by Friday afternoon, we're anticipating being at least in the clear with the estuaries and the watershed as well. So keep that in mind. We're right back with more GMJ right after this.